Hey everyone, welcome back to Psychian, the channel where we dive deep into mental health, personal growth, and the journey to becoming our best self. I'm your host, and today I am sharing a story that changed how I view growth, a story inspired by a powerful quote from Shihi, the head monk of the Shaolin Temple, Europe. He said, "How can you call it growth if you're not constantly expanding out of your comfort zone? How are you growing if you're just doing things that your body is already accustomed to?" That hit me hard. It made me question everything about how I was living. Was I really growing, or was I just coasting? This quote isn't just words, it's a challenge. It's a call to push beyond what feels safe and familiar. And let me tell you, applying it to my life wasn't easy, but it was transformative. Over the next 20 minutes, I am going to take you through my journey through pivotal moments where I stepped out of my comfort zone, inspired by Shihengi's wisdom. I'll share the struggles, the breakthroughs, and the lessons that reshaped my mental health and sense of purpose. If you've ever felt stuck or wondered how to grow into the person you want to be, this is for you. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive in. A few years ago, I was in a rut. I was in my late 20s, working a stable but uninspiring job as a marketing assistant. My days were predictable. Wake up, commute, sit at a desk, go home, scroll social media, sleep, repeat. I wasn't unhappy, but I wasn't fulfilled either. I felt like I was on autopilot, doing what was expected, but not what lit me up. Deep down, I knew I wanted more purpose, more growth, more life. But I was terrified of change. What if I failed? Okay, what if I embarrassed myself? What if I wasn't good enough? My comfort zone was my safe haven. I stuck to routines because they were familiar. I avoided risks because they felt like threats. I'd tell myself, I'll try something new next month, but next month never came. I was stuck in a cycle of procrastination and self-doubt. My mental health wasn't terrible, but it wasn't thriving either. I felt restless, like I was wasting my potential, but didn't know how to break free. I started noticing physical signs of my stagnation. I was tired all the time, even though I wasn't doing much. My posture was slouched from hours at a desk. I'd get anxious over small decisions, like whether to join a friend for dinner or try a new hobby. I was so used to my routine that anything outside it felt overwhelming. Looking back, I realized I wasn't growing because I wasn't challenging myself. I was doing what Shihengi warns against, sticking to what my body and mind were already accustomed to. One evening, I was mindlessly scrolling YouTube, feeling that familiar mix of boredom and frustration. I stumbled across a TEDx talk by Shihengi. His presence was magnetic, calm, disciplined, yet powerful. He spoke about self-mastery, about how growth comes from discomfort. When he said, "How can you call it growth if you're not constantly expanding out of your comfort zone?" It was like he was speaking directly to me. I paused the video, grabbed a notebook, and wrote it down. That quote became my wake-up call. Shihengi's teachings hit me at the right time. I started researching more about him and the Shaolin philosophy. He's not just a monk. He's a master of martial arts and mindfulness, blending ancient wisdom with modern challenges. His approach to growth, IS&T, about chasing external success, S, about mastering your mind and body. That resonated with me. I wasn't looking for fame or wealth. I wanted to feel alive, to know I was becoming a better version of myself. The quote kept echoing in my head. I realized I wasn't growing because I was avoiding discomfort. My comfort zone was a cage, and I was the one holding the key. Inspired by Shihengi, I decided to challenge myself in 3 areas: my physical limits, my career, and my social fear. Each step was terrifying, but each one taught me what growth really means. Let me take you through the first experience. I've never been athletic. Growing up, I was the kid who'd fake a stomachache to skip gym class. Exercise felt like punishment, and I avoided it like the plague. But Shihengi's emphasis on physical discipline made me rethink that. He talks about how the body and mind are connected, how pushing your body can strengthen your mental resilience. I decided to test that by taking up running, something I'd always dismissed as not for me. I started small, jogging around my neighborhood for 10 minutes. It was brutal. Okay, my lungs burned, my legs itched, and my mind screamed, "Why are you doing this?" But I kept going, inspired by the idea that discomfort was the path to growth. I downloaded a running app and committed to a 5,000 training plan. Every morning, I'd lace up my sneakers, step out of my cozy apartment, and face the challenge. The first few weeks were humbling. I was slow, out of breath, and constantly tempted to quit. But I remembered Shihengi's words. How are you growing if you're just doing things your body's already accustomed to? Running wasn't comfortable, and that was the point. I started noticing changes. My stamina improved. I could run 20 minutes without stopping. My mood lifted. I felt energized, even proud. Physically, I was stronger, but the real growth was mental. I learned to push through resistance, to quiet the voice in my head that said, "You can't do this." Okay, by week 8, I ran my first 5K, crossing that finish line, sweaty and exhausted. I felt invincible. It wasn't about the distance. It was about proving to myself that I could step out of my comfort zone and survive. Running became my metaphor for growth, a reminder that progress comes from effort, not ease. Sheheng Yi was right. My body wasn't accustomed to running, and that's why it changed me. The next challenge was my career. I'd been at my marketing job for years, and while it paid the bills, it didn't spark joy. I felt like a cog in a machine, churning out reports and emails without purpose. I'd always dreamed of starting my own side hustle, maybe a blog or a small online business, but fear held me back. What if I failed? What if I wasted time and money? My comfort zone was the security of my 9 to 5, and I clung to it. Sheheng Ye's quote pushed me to rethink that. If I stayed in my safe job, I wasn't growing. I was just repeating what I already knew how to do. So I took a leap. I decided to start a mental health blog, the precursor to this very channel. I had no experience with blogging or content creation, but I was passionate about psychology and helping others. I figured that was enough to start. The first step was learning the basics, setting up a website, writing posts, and figuring out SEO. It was overwhelming. I spent nights Googling terms like WordPress plugins and keyword research, feeling like I was in over my head. There were moments I wanted to quit, especially when my first posts got 0 views, but I kept going, reminding myself that growth happens outside the comfort zone. Every time I hit publish on a new post, I was pushing past my fear of failure. Slowly, things started to click. I got my first comment from a reader who said my post helped them through a tough day. That one comment fueled me for weeks. Over time, the blog grew and I started Psychiant on YouTube. It's still a work in progress, but it's mine. Taking that career leap taught me resilience and self-belief. I wasn't just doing what I was accustomed to, I was creating something new, and that's where the growth happened. The third challenge was personal, my social anxiety. I've always been shy, the kind of person who'd rather text than call, who'd avoid parties because small talk felt like torture. I had a small circle of friends, but I struggled to connect with new people. I knew this was holding me back, not just socially, but emotionally. Sheheng Yi's quote made me see that staying in my social comfort zone was stunting my growth. I decided to face this head-on by joining a local community group, book club, of all things. The idea of sitting in a room full of strangers discussing literature terrified me, but I signed up, telling myself it was just one meeting. The first session was as awkward as I'd feared. I stumbled over my words, blushed when someone asked my opinion, and left feeling drained. But I went back the next week, and the week after that, over time, I got better at it. I started speaking up, sharing my thoughts, even cracking a few jokes. I made friends, real meaningful connections with people who shared my love for stories. The book club became a safe space to practice courage. I wasn't just reading books, I was rewriting myself. I went from the quiet one in the corner to someone who could hold a conversation. That shift didn't happen because I stayed comfortable. It happened because I pushed myself to show up, even when I was scared. These 3 experiences, running, starting a blog, and joining a book club, taught me what Sheheng Yi means by growth. It's not about grand achievements or overnight success. It's about small, intentional steps into the unknown. Each time I stepped out of my comfort zone, I grew a little stronger, a little braver, a little more me. Physically, running showed me my body is capable of more than I thought. It improved my mental health, reducing anxiety and boosting my mood. Career-wise, starting cycling gave me purpose. It's not about the views or subscribers. It's about knowing I'm helping someone, even in a small way. Socially, the book club helped me rewrite my narrative. I'm not the shy one anymore. I'm someone who can connect, who can be seen. Shi Heng Yi's philosophy isn't just about discomfort for discomfort's sake. It's about aligning your actions with your values. Growth hurts because it stretches you like a muscle under tension. But that tension builds strength. My mental health has never been better, not because life is perfect, but because I'm no longer afraid to face it. So, how can you apply this in your life? Here are 5 practical steps to step out of your comfort zone, inspired by Shi Heng Yi. 1. Start small. Don't overhaul your life overnight. Pick one area: physical, professional, or social. Take a tiny step. Run for 5 minutes. Write 1 paragraph. Say hi to a stranger. 2. Embrace the suck. Discomfort is part of the process. When you feel resistance, remind yourself it's a sign you're growing. 3. Set a goal. Give yourself something to aim for, like a 5K or a new skill. Goals keep you focused when motivation fades. 4. Reflect regularly. Journal about your experiences. What did you learn? How did you grow? Reflection turns action into insight. 5. Find inspiration. Watch Shi Heng Yi's talks, read books on mindfulness, or follow creators who push you to think bigger. Surround yourself with ideas that challenge you. Looking back, I'm grateful for that evening when I stumbled across Shi Heng Yi's talk. His words, how can you call it growth if you're not constantly expanding out of your comfort zone, lit a fire in me. They pushed me to run, to create, to connect. They taught me that growth isn't found in safety. It's found in the messy, scary, beautiful space beyond it. If you're feeling stuck, I want you to know you're not alone. You don't need to have it all figured out. Just take one step. Try something new, even if it scares you. That's where the magic happens. That's where you grow. Thank you for watching this video. If it resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe to and share it with someone who needs a nudge to step out of their comfort zone. Drop a comment below. Tell me one thing you're going to try to push your limits. I read every comment and I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep growing, keep pushing, and I'll see you in the